Hi, my name is Cameron Carlson with AnimeLocation.tv. I'm here at Ohayocon 2023 with Chad Hoku. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing really well. How are you doing?
It's already busy. We're all back-to-back interviews right now. So how'd you get started in the world of entertainment?
So growing up, I really loved video games, but I also really loved building stuff. And my dad was a craftsman, so it was kind of the combination of being raised under that environment, but then also wanting to take the things from the video games and have them in real life. And then prop making became a thing, and then I also wanted to work on video games. And it was a snowball, right? My job is to take the intangible and then bring it into reality.
Nice, awesome. So it says in your bio that you're the owner of Hoku Props, a fabrication facility in California. Can you tell us about how your shop works and what fans may have seen of your shop work?
Oh, sure. So Hoku Props, we're based out of California. We do a lot of industry work. I work a lot with metal foundries. We do a lot of work in Hollywood. We do a lot of work at theater. And so the environment that we work in is really, really related to the 3D printing industry. We do a lot of automation, a lot of CNC work, a lot of laser cutting work. And so, I've got a background in visual effects. I went to school for it. So those things kind of all tying together really gave me the ability to just become who we are now today.
And tying into that, I mean, I'm not going to lie, dude. The fact that you won TwitchCon's first ever year as the cosplay contest as Reinhardt, and I mean, the fact you incorporated your own eye into the whole cosplay is awesome. So how long did that take? I mean, it's a massive piece of work. So how was it like working on him?
So Reinhardt was built over the course of about 2 months. And
What?
yeah, so Reinhardt was built about 2 months. Having that background in 3D was really useful because I was able to kind of get in and develop the whole thing and flesh it out, but then go ahead and reach over to the fabrication side of things. As far as like how difficult it was and the complication of it, like I couldn't have, in my wildest imagination, I could not have just been able to interpret how much work that would have been. When I say 2 months, it was 2 months of no sleep, right? So that's kind of like the thing is like, it's probably about 4 months of work combined into 2 months. Yeah. So, and then of course the whole eye thing is like, when you have a disability like that, or you have some sort of like thing that's just different, you either own it and make it yours or you don't. And for me, it's part of my whole initiative was just like, this is me, this is who I am. So I'm going to celebrate who I am. I'm going to show who I am. And I'm going to make this thing that might be a weakness to some as a strength.
No, dude, I mean, it fit I mean, I remember when it was when the internet saw it, it blew like, I don't even pay attention to Twitch all that much, but I was like, holy moly, this guy's going places. Like, I could totally tell. Like, I mean, it blew the internet apart. I mean, it was awesome when it first premiered. And the crazy part is I'm still talking about it you did it in 2016, it's 2023. So you know how good of a long-lasting power it was.
I love that costume. I honestly, like, every single year, my wife and I were just like, okay, are we going to remake it this year? Are we going to do another Reinhardt? But I mean, there's so much more that's kind of come out of that costume. I've gotten to become friends with the voice actor, Darren DePaul. I've gotten to meet a bunch of other people who built Reinhardts. We even have like this like Reinhardt club where all the people who build Reinhardts like just hang out and talk about like the horror stories of building a Reinhardt. So, we have a little Reinhardt clan. It's pretty great.
So the fun thing is that even though COVID took a big chunk out of a lot of people, you came up with the awesome idea of doing Ultimate Cosplay LLC, a great organization of fellow cosplayers where you host online events. And again, that was during the pandemic. How did you guys all right, we can't do it physically, let's do it digitally?
I can't take full credit. So I've been working on costume contests, and I've consulted with like Twitch on their contests and a bunch of other organizations. But my friend Chris Talk, he reached out to me. He was the one with the original idea. Him and his friends, Frostbite Cosplay, right? And it was just like, hey man, I need your help. And so it was at that point where it's like all of the experience I had with like creating a competition. Competitions for me are pretty sacred, right? A competition with good sportsmanship, though, is where it's really at. Because that sportsmanship, it's like if you're competing against me and I'm competing against you, but you're struggling, that doesn't make me feel like I'm better than you. That makes me feel like you're struggling. Right. And I want to help you, and I hope that you'll be willing to help me too, because that helps both of us build and get further and further along in our project, right? Yeah. And it's like that showdown between all of these collective contestants that are at the top of their game. Yeah. And just like really pushing the limit, that to me is the beauty of this whole thing, right? My fiance would laugh. She'd be like, you like slice of life, like high school sports anime. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of what I wanted Ultimate Cosplay to become as a competition. It's this high school sports anime costume contest, right? Yeah. Oh man, that might be used against me.
I was just say, because in all honesty, the people you have, Whew, boy, you got some of the best on the planet on some of that.
Have them.
No, I just meant in terms of competing.
You know, I think that that's the whole thing is like it is genuinely all about the contestants. They're the ones that make the shows special. They're the ones that really push us to try and do the different things that we've done. And I just hope that we can kind of celebrate all of that together. That's really what the online portion of the show is it's just it's an award ceremony. It's a celebration.
And kind of going along with that with competitions and stuff, you know, you're also now a judge.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, what is your mindset? How do you switch on and off? Because, you know, when you compete, it's one mindset.
Sure.
When you judge, it's another mindset. So how do you like help, you know, when you're judging, you know, you see a novice come in and then you see, you know, a pro level come in, you know, there's such a wide swath of skill sets. How do you encourage the new one to reach to the pro level?
Oh man, that's a good question. You know, the thing about costume competitions is in the end of the day, you still need one person that is supposed to be that collective winner, right? But then with some other contests, we've now gotten, you know, accolades that are specific towards like their kind of category. And that's the costume contest I like. I feel like there's such a strong mixed media that is really starting to become present. You have needlework costumers that now have armor, they have beadwork, they have, you know, jewelry that they're making. They have all of these different elements. And at the same side, you have the armor makers that now have incredible props. They also have incredible sewing. It's really becoming a mixed media kind of environment. And I think that is a strength. I think it's something that should be celebrated. But then for the person who is inherently needlework, there still needs to be that celebration for them. That's where having the divisions or the categories really helps. I like that. But I also really like having like a beginner category that celebrates as people are growing. So it really just kind of comes down to the environment, the competition, the competitors that are showing up. But what's crazy is like your beginning class category now typically has better costumes than what you would have seen 5 or 6 years ago, right? So I'm just grateful that we've had the evolution of costumers that we have.
Now, going into all of that, now through your website of your prop store, you offer a lot of services to both conventions and, you know, people in the industry.
Yeah.
What's it like working on that? You know, on top of that, how do you manage doing a normal business on top of all your great cosplay stuff?
You know, the cosplay for me is the marketing. It's the celebration. It's the excitement. It's kind of the showcase of what we do. So much of our work has been NDA for so long that it's hard to kind of be able to share everything, especially being so close in proximity to like Hollywood and those being a lot of the jobs that we're involved with. So this is something that like as time has grown on and we've been more able to do like content creation and showing stuff off, I'm now at the point where it's like I get to pick and choose which jobs are the right ones for us. So you ask like how we do the business. And you know what's funny is my answer for that was starting off working incredibly hard, right? Gaining the legitimacy of that, but then B, having the portfolio so I could showcase what we are capable of doing, having the right mindset about why what we're doing is the right fit for you as the client. And then the other thing about that, though, is being very selective. Like, a lot of people have to understand that there's a lot of strength in saying no sometimes. And so if all you're doing is taking on those nickel and dime commissions, that can really affect you because you're not getting portfolio pieces, right? So I think that's a part of it is just like, A, it's figuring out what you're really good at. We know what we're really good at, right? And then it's B, it's just being willing to say no sometimes. And that is really, I think, what helps elevate artists in what they're doing and helping turn that from a craft into a career.
Awesome. So now you also, since you have been cosplaying for such a high level for so long, what's it like to go back into the beginning with a small budget, like in a big dream? Like, so if you're a new person, right, you got this, you know, dream of being big, and then, but now you look back at yourself, could you potentially do a big dream, small budget cosplay?
Oh, I feel like the budget categories that we see more and more in costumes are really interesting. So Ultimate just had this really awesome competition that we produced for Hearthstone. And the thing that was interesting is there was a Goblin Craft category, and that was meant to be like cardboard and duct tape and just like, you know, very, very budget. And it was really cool to see the ingenious things that people came up with and how they were going to approach their costumes. And I think that's a lot of it is like, so much of what makes a costume great isn't necessarily the materials. It's the thoughtfulness that goes into it. It's the considerations. It's being able to move. Like, here's a good example is like the first thing when somebody walks through the door when we're judging that we're looking for is the silhouette of them. It's not all of the intricate details. It's just how well do they move? How well is that suspension of disbelief maintained when they walk through that door towards me? If they're having a hard time moving around, it can really affect you. And that's something that isn't just prevalent in competitions, though. It's also on the show floor. It's like when you see somebody struggling, you can tell, and it really throws off the look. So that's, I think, some of the things to really consider.
Now, you've got a lot of great information and topics and everything. Now, the thing is, we know that you can't always talk about every project you work on because of NDAs. What is a current project you would love fans to hear about?
Oh, what is a current project? So there's a costume that I really want to build. I've been under NDA craziness since all of COVID. You know, everything got stacked, right? So we had this other job that we were working on for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. We did this really cool Lich King costume. But there's another job that I'm really looking forward to working on for myself, and that is a Monster Hunter costume, Gas Harag. So he's like the big bad abominable snowman who looks terrifying, but he's also kind of cute in a weird way. So that's something that I think, you know, I get to give myself a present like once or twice a year, and that's like a cool costume. And I haven't been able to do it for like 3 years. So I've got a backlog of like IOUs to myself. So that's the next one. We're going to have lights. We're going to have a bunch of resin, a bunch of really cool effects. So that's something I always really like, is like always challenging ourselves in a way and doing stuff that other people haven't done before. Whether that's mobility with like Reinhardt, because that was the big thing with Reinhardt, was the mobility.
That when I saw that on film, I was like, he can move.
I can move.
Yeah, that was the big thing.
Yeah.
So following up with that, are there any ways we can follow you online, either by your prop business yourself?
Yes.
And then what would you like to say to the fans that have been keeping up with you since you kind of blew up with TwitchCon back in 2016?
So the best places to find me is just pretty much any social media: Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Hoku Props. It's pretty consistent. You can also follow Ultimate Cosplay on most of those too. There's no shows on the books right now for Ultimate. We do have a book that's coming out the start of next month. Called the Ultimate Cosplay Encyclopedia, and that's going to be on armor, and it is a kind of collaborative effort with a bunch of contributors who have given us different specific tutorials for something that they're specialize in. So that comes out next month, and then all I can say is, I'm so incredibly grateful to have this opportunity to just talk to you and talk to the different fans and then teach in panels, and I'm really excited about like the conventions and how I feel like conventions for a little while there were starting to get a little just like overdone, right? Yeah. And having that little bit of a break that COVID forced us to take. A, people have wicked good costumes they built for 2 years, right? Yeah. And then B, though, now I think that having so much time to like learn crafting has really pushed people really, really, really far in that craft. And now what we get to do at conventions is have workshops where like people like myself and other really incredible crafters, we can teach you, we can showcase you. So I've got a couple demos, a couple panels here, but I'm looking forward to the future. I'm going to be doing a bunch of stuff on YouTube this year because I've turned down all NDA jobs for the last 6 months now. So, hey.
Well, it's been wonderful to talk with you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
My brother's name's Cameron, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah. It's nice to talk to a Cameron who's not picking on me and beating me up.
Well, we love talking to you. Thank you so much again.
Yes, thanks. Bye, everyone.